Good morning, students. Welcome you all to the next session of Soft Skills. I'm your mentor, Shivani Sharma from mentorbuddy.com. I hope I'm audible to all. Good morning, everybody. How is everyone? Good morning, Prerna. Good morning, Vaishnavi. Good morning, Saurabh. So expecting everybody to be in sound health, right? So how many of you have your how many of you are going to appear for emphasis exam? Good morning, Imanshi. Just give me 1 minute time. Let me just open the presentation. We are going to do a very interesting topic today, that is emotional intelligence. And this topic is going to be very, very helpful for you, not only in your professional life, but also in your personal life, right? So this is something which is really very close to all my, corporate development program or student development programs or faculty development program, because this concept is utilized everywhere, right? So let me just start the session today with emotional intelligence. I hope you all can see this. Can everybody see? Right? Is everybody able to see the emotional intelligence? Right. So let us just start the slideshow. Right. So how many of you have heard of this concept before? Emotional intelligence. How many of you are aware of this or have heard about this concept earlier also? Any ideas? What do you think is emotional intelligence? Anybody who would like to share? What is your idea of emotional intelligence? What do you think is emotional intelligence? Or what is your understanding of this concept? Psychological effects, thinking and all. Okay. What about others? I'm expecting a response from more participants. Okay, Prerna is saying self-awareness, empathy, self-regulation, social awareness. Good one, Prerna. I think you have read about it, or probably you have Googled that. But yes, emotional intelligence is a concept that is very much in, that plays a very important role in our personality development. There are two concepts. One is called as IQ and the other one is called EQ, right? Yes, Saurabh, understand and use your emotions effectively is what we mean by being emotionally intelligent, right? So let us start the session today, and this is the 17th session of our, of our module series. So very soon we are going to wind up the soft skills session. So from today onwards, we are going towards leadership skills. Emotional intelligence is something which will help you in improving your personality, in improving your personal and professional relationships, in improving yourself as a leader, right? So till now we have been talking about the basics of personality development or soft skills, where we were supposed to gain the mastery over some common or some basic skills. Now we are going towards advanced soft skills that involves a lot of new things like negotiations, like emotional intelligence, like leadership skills, like conflict handling and all these things, right? So let's start. So first of all, what is your expectation from the class? So I'm sure that everybody wants to know more about emotional intelligence, and you also want to understand how emotional intelligence is going to be beneficial for you, isn't it? So the objectives of the program is I'll make you understand what exactly is EQ or emotional quotient, and Not only understanding this concept, but also you will learn how can you become emotionally intelligent, right? So the same ground rules, you are going to listen attentively to what I'll say, participate actively in the class, share your experience, respect each other, keep a notebook and pen ready, and write down your queries. I'll take up all the queries towards the end of the class. I'll devote 5 minutes for question and answer, right? So let's start from journey from best IQ to best EQ. IQ is intelligent question that is based upon your intelligence, your knowledge, right? And EQ is emotional question. Man being an emotional person or human beings being emotional, we also have to understand how we can utilize our emotions in the best possible manner, or how can we become intelligent not only academically but also emotionally. Right, so this is the basic debate between IQ and EQ. So there's a very good saying. And in one word, if you would like to understand what is IQ and what is EQ. So what you think is IQ and what you feel is EQ, right? So in our brain, we have neocortex, that is thinking brain, and we have limbic system, that is emotional brain. Right, so this is the scientific aspect of it, because everybody or a layman feels that we think from our heart, right? So there's no thinking mechanism in heart. We think from our brain, we feel from our brain also, right? So we a layman feels that we feel from our heart and we think from our brain, right? But it's not like that. We both feel and think from our brain only. Right, so there's a very good saying, and I thought that let me just share this with you. I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. How many of you agree with me on this? So that feeling component in ourselves is very important. The way somebody made you feel, that creates a very lasting impact on you. Right, what somebody said, I'm sure that all of you still remember that in your childhood, those teachers in the classes where you used to feel very good, or if there was some teacher who made you feel very special, or probably very very dejected or very notorious one in the class, right? So all those feelings play a very dominant role and they create a lasting impact on our brains, isn't it? How many of you would agree with me on this, that we surely remember how somebody made us feel? Yes, definitely, Shiv Kumar, you are allowed to ask questions, right? So how many of you agree with me on this, that we remember more of those situations and more of those experiences where we felt really good or bad? Right, what somebody said, what somebody did, that is secondary, but how somebody made us feel is more important, right, Imanshi? Okay, thank you so much for confirming, Prerna. What about others? Why I am not getting responses from other students? I expect all of you to interact with me through the question pane, right? So there is a small window that all of you are able to see, where you see a lot of information about the webinar. There is a small option there of questions, right? So you just click on that, and from there you can write whatever you want to interact with me. Are you all able to see the question pane? Just click on that question pane, right? And there you can type whatever you want to share with me. Please do respond through the question pane, so that I can understand whether you are able to do that. Please respond with a Y. Please respond with a Y, all the students. Thank you, Saloni, Saurabh. Students, please respond with a Y through the question pane. Himanshi, Shubham. I'll take it as attendance also. Shraddhe, Kunal, Vaishnavi. Okay, Kunal. Kunal, that's it. I've got your response. What about others? Rishikesh, Mansi. Other students quickly respond. Smaranya, Dhananjay, Mayur, Jigyasa, Aishwarya. Quickly, quickly. You just have to type a Y. Revati. Students, come on, quickly respond. Yashashri, Shiv Kumar, Govind. When I said Y, I meant alphabet Y and not WHY. All right. Thank you so much. And those who have not responded will not be getting the attendance for the class. Right. So then don't write to me that saying that, ma'am, we have not received the e-certificate. When you are not interacting in the class, why should you get a certificate also? I'll be taking a screenshot of all this and will be sharing that with Mentor Buddy team. All right. Those who are not responding in the class will not get the e-certificate, and I will not also respond to their queries through the feedback@mentorbuddy.com. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Let us continue with the class. Right. So as you see here on the screen, there's so many emotions which we all feel. Angry, worry, bored, confused, guilty, right? So what exactly is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the capacity so that we can recognize our own feelings and also feelings of others. And why do we want to recognize our feelings and others' feelings? So that we can motivate ourselves, so that we can manage our emotions and have a better relationship. Now, this relationship can be personal also and can be professional also. Is that all right? So when we achieve a stage where we are able to recognize our own emotions, to understand the emotions of others, and also to motivate ourselves, and at the same time we are able to manage our emotions well, to have a better personal or professional relationship. This is called as emotional intelligence, right? Do you think it is going to have an impact on our personal lives? Definitely, right? We all know that emotions play a very important role. Whatever we do in our life, right? Emotions play an important role. Emotions arouse our actions, right? When you are feeling angry, you start shouting and throwing things, right? It motivates us to do. So when you have this emotion, when you have this feeling of doing something good, something great, you are motivated to work, you are motivated to study, right? So these emotions basically they add color to our lives. If we are feeling happy, if we are feeling right, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling lovable, right, all these different emotions actually give a color to our lives, right? Otherwise we will also lead a life of a robot, right, where like a robot just performs the daily chores and tasks without having any feeling or emotion. This is probably the basic difference where, you know, artificial intelligence is not able to emulate human emotions and feelings, right? So these emotions basically adds color to our lives, and of course it helps us in regulating our social interactions. So however we interact with people around us in our family, friends, schools, colleges, the way we interact with our, you know, professional relationships, that all these all are guided by nothing else but emotions, right? So emotions play a very, very important role as far as, you know, our lives are concerned, as far as our way in which we interact with others are concerned, right? So now let us have a look at a very small video which I find really very interesting, and I'm sure all of you are also going to enjoy it. Look at the deep meaning which this small video is trying to convey. This is one of the award-winning short films. So have a look at this. Right. So don't you feel that this was a small story with a very, very deep meaning? I just want to hear from all of you now what you felt after seeing this small story. The way how different people react to problems of life, isn't it? So I just want you all to share what you felt after seeing this. I found it very interesting, so I thought that let me share this with my students. Right. So what is your feeling? What is your learning after seeing this? Okay, so Shubham is saying the boy was looking so sad, but ultimately he was able to find out a solution of the problem, right? Where everybody was just passing through that pit, that small pit full of water, dirty water rather, but this boy has tried and he has find out a solution to the problem, not only for himself but for others also, right? So every time it is not about only me, but it is also about we and us. I think in the last class, all those who have attended, they have seen that it is all about, not me or I, it's also about we and us. Right, Aishwarya, very nice. People have so many problems, but the solution is very simple and we make it complicated, or rather we don't want to even think about the solutions and just crib on the problems that we are facing. There is a solution to every problem. Just find right and simple solution. Very good, Saurabh. Yes, Mayur, nothing is hard, but we make it hard. Am I audible? Others can hear me? Prerna, now is it better? All right. Prerna, please check your internet connectivity, because from my side everything seems to be fine, as others are able to hear me. All right. Okay, good. Right. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Yes, you all enjoyed this. All right. So now let me show you something which is very interesting and which will also help you in understanding what is the basic nature of EQ. right? So what is this that you see on the screen? This is an iceberg. Can you all see that? Iceberg. And the basic characteristic of an iceberg is that it is 1/4 above water or above land and 3/4 beneath it. So it is very difficult to find out the length and breadth, basically the breadth of the iceberg. And that is also one of the reasons why Titanic got destructed, right? Because the captain was not able to understand the breadth or the width of the iceberg, and the ship got, wrecked um, by the tip of the iceberg, right? So similarly, in defining an individual's personality, IQ is just 1/4, and IQ is what we see on the top, above the ground or the sea level, whereas EQ is more important. EQ plays the 3/4 part of it, but is generally beneath or covered, or which is not clearly visible, so people are not able to make it out. But EQ is the #1 predictor of success in personal and professional life. You must have seen that there are a lot of students who are very good scholars, but when it comes to having relationships, whether that be personal or professional relationships, they are not very good. Now, this is the only reason why. They might be having very good IQ, but they are not emotionally intelligent or not emotionally strong. So 90% of top performers are high in EQ. Generally, there is a positive relationship between IQ and EQ, but sometimes it is possible that a person with good IQ might not be having a sound EQ also, right? 60% performance in all types of jobs is accounted for by emotional question, irrespective of the job, irrespective of the profile that you are going to take up. But actually, your performance on your job is guided more by EQ than IQ. So when you'll be appearing for your interviews also, of course, IQ plays a role. But remember this iceberg example, IQ plays 1/4 role in all the performances that you are going to deliver, whereas EQ plays 3/4, right? So now let me just tell you the theoretical explanation of emotional intelligence. Basically, this concept of emotional intelligence is given by Goldman, right? So this concept is derived, is designated, and is propagated by Goldman. And people like this concept a lot. So now, a lot of researchers have been done on this emotional intelligence. So basically, emotional intelligence consists of four things. Self. Under self, we have self-awareness and self-management. And under social, we have social awareness and relationship management. So you can say that it is the base of all interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships. So when we say self-awareness, that means self-confidence. And how will you get the self-confidence? By having an emotional self-awareness and accurate self-assessment also. Now, only when you are aware of your own self, then only you will be socially aware, then only you will be able to empathize with others. What do we mean by empathize? Empathize means to feel how the other person is feeling, right? And what all comes under self management? When I'm aware of my emotions, when I'm aware of myself, that how do I get hurt, or what are the triggers that make me angry, what are the triggers that make me feel low and sad, then only you will be able to manage yourself, right? Under self management, we have self control. Self control means what? There are a lot many things, right? Trustworthiness, consciousness, adaptability. So in one word, how you are going to regulate your emotions, and believe me, it is not an easy task, right? When you are feeling angry, how many of us are able to take out time and to take time to react rather than respond? right? We all usually react to every situation. I'll be coming to that point also. So it is very important for us to be self-aware and self-management. Social awareness and relationship management, when you are able to understand others, when you are able to empathize with how others are feeling, then only you'll be able to manage your relationship, right? And under relationship management, a lot of things that come: teamwork, collaboration, building strong bonds with others, how to influence others, right? Inspirational leadership will also come under relationship management. So everything around us, you can understand, will be guided by emotional intelligence only. Now these are the 4 domains of emotional intelligence. Let's talk more about this, right? So we have talked about 4 domains: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So under self-awareness, what will come? You have to know your story. You have to know your emotions and how that affects you. Sometimes it happens that whatever has happened in the past, let's say you have some bad experience, so it always haunts you, or it obstructs you from performing in the future, right? So you have to make peace with your past. You have to know your beliefs, you have to know your emotions, and at the same time you also have to understand your behavior patterns. You might have come across a lot of people who say, I was feeling very angry, so that is why I behaved that manner. So what? I was feeling angry and it was not in my control, right? Now saying that I was feeling very angry and it was not in my control is something which is a very, very absurd thing to say. And you also need to know your relationship pattern, right? So this is always self-awareness. Then we have self-management. So under self-management, we have developed skills for breathing and relaxation. This is very important to relax your mind, to calm yourself. And that is how, you know, meditation and relaxation techniques play a very, very important role, right? Learn positive and self-affirming beliefs. Don't ever get into, this auto feedback where you are talking negative to your own self. I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this, I can't do this, I can't speak in English, I can't perform well in interviews, I'm feeling very nervous. Instead of that, learn to have positive self-affirming beliefs. I'm very good, I know this. I might not be very good in English, but I know how to express myself. I'll be able to crack the exams with good marks, right? So these kind of positive and self-affirming beliefs are best to manage yourself and your emotions. Develop self-soothing and self-motivation skills. Don't always look for somebody else that they are going to come to you and motivate you and saying, okay, fine, do this, get up and do this. You have to bounce back to that again and again. So a person who's a self-motivator or a self-starter has more chances of success in life as compared to somebody who is always looking for extrinsic motivation. And of course, maintaining good physical health is very, very important. After this, we come to social awareness. In social awareness, you have to understand non-verbal communication, how others are reacting. Maybe the other person is not feeling comfortable with your jokes. Maybe the other person is not feeling very comfortable in your company. It's better to avoid that place, right? Develop a positive view of others. I've seen people being sarcastic or people talking negative of others always. Now that is a sign of a low emotional intelligence. Every human being is blessed with something positive, right? It is your objective, it is your responsibility, and it is your perception to look at the positive things. And believe me, when you are having a positive outlook, you will find out positives in others. Understand the basic emotional needs, right? And understand games and personal integrity also, right? And these all 3 things will help you in relationship management. Develop skills for reflective listening and empathy. Empathy we have just now talked about. See, when you are understanding others or when you are trying to manage a relationship, that does not mean saying a yes to everything what others are saying. You can be assertive, but being assertive does not always mean argumentative or being in conflict with somebody. It's fine that somebody else's thoughts are not matching with you. It's perfectly fine. We are not mirror images, and it is not always possible that there are two people who think alike. It's not at all, right? So we need to respect the conflicting thoughts, but that does not mean that the other person is your enemy, right? Learn conflict resolution skills. We'll be talking more about the conflict handling, and learn skills for support and affirmation of others. I might disagree with you on a particular point, but that does not mean that I disagree with you as an individual. These are the things which we need to, develop and grow with. So have a look at the signs of low emotional intelligence and high emotional intelligence. Right? So now look at this. I'm giving you 1 minute time and see where do you fall. These are few adjectives. Look at this and assess your own self, whether you are low on emotional intelligence or high on it. Are you assertive, ambitious, driving, strong-willed or decisive? Or you are aggressive, very demanding, egoistical, bossy and confrontational? Whether you get easily distracted, or you're a selfish person, or poor listener, or very impulsive, or you are very patient, warm, enthusiastic, sociable, charming, persuasive, right? So these are certain adjectives with the help of which you can understand whether you are low on emotional intelligence or high on it. Clear? So how many of you feel that you are high on emotional intelligence? How many of you are high on emotional intelligence? Okay, very good, Imanshi. Shubham. Shiv Kumar, it is not so easy as it sounds. See, any topic in theory seems to be very easy, but when it comes to practical application of that, it is a difficult task. Good one, Manali. Okay, yes, I was looking for this answer only, Shraddhe. At your age, most of you will be under moderate category, neither high nor low on emotional intelligence. And one thing more, students, these characteristics differ during time to time, right? So there are different phases of our life. So if you will do a self assessment of emotional intelligence today, or let's say you are appearing for an interview and you got qualified for the same, after that, when your confidence goes up, it will also have an impact on your emotional intelligence score. Similarly, if you have gone through a traumatic event or things are not going good in your life, your emotional intelligence will be low, right? So this is something which keeps on changing with the different phases of life, but our objective is that we need to bounce back. We might be feeling low at some point of time. There are definite, life events which have a very major impact on our emotional intelligence, but the idea and the objective is to be back to life, right? So these are basically signs of emotional intelligence. Suppose, somebody gets into an argument with you and you stop saying, okay, fine, I respect your thoughts, right? So it's fine. Let's not, argue more on this. That does not mean that you are a loser, right? So being argumentative all the time is not right. Rather, we need to respect the other person. We need to give space to the other person. Blaming others is also sign of low emotional intelligence. You must have seen. Now, just look at these 4 signs of low emotional intelligence and focus on people around you. Focus on yourself. How many times do you get into this? How many times do you try to get into arguments with your siblings, with your friends, with your teachers, with your parents? How many times you get into not listening mode? You said your point and then finish, complete. Now I am not listening to you. I might seem to be listening, but that is just passive. That is not listening, rather that is only hearing, right? Blaming others, you must have seen people, always indulge in what their parents have done, what their parents have not done for them, how their teachers are not teaching well in class, how their friends are not being good with them, how their siblings are misbehaving with them. So if you are always continuously blaming others, that is also a sign of low emotional intelligence and emotional outbursts also, right? Suppose there's a small trigger and then you start shouting. That means that you are feeling low at that time as far as emotional intelligence is concerned. It's okay and it's perfectly fine to be like this some of the time, but then we surely need to bounce back and improve ourselves on these things at the earliest, right? So now I have a very good video for you, and these are few triggers, right? So just try to look at this video and get an answer for yourself that are you emotionally intelligent or not? Because I'm sure that all of you would be wondering that ma'am is talking so much of emotional intelligence. Now, am I an emotionally intelligent person? Right? So try and get an answer for yourself. Right. So a very important learning which I was trying to impart with the help of this video was that being emotionally intelligent is guided by, of course, a little bit of your innate potential, right? But moreover, it is more influenced by environment, and majorly it is your attitude, right? So with your attitude, you can understand and you can improve your emotional intelligence, right? Now, the question is, if our attitude can help us in improving our emotional intelligence, how can we do that? Right? So there are 5 skills that I want to tell all my students, with the help of which you all can improve your emotional intelligence. First, you should develop the ability to quickly reduce stress. Right? We have a session on stress management, I guess. So we'll be talking more about stress management techniques, right? But you have to reduce your stress by being organized, by being good at time management, right? Don't work under stress, because the more you will work under stress, the more negative impact it will have on your emotional intelligence. Try to recognize and manage your emotions. Try to connect with others using non-verbal communication. I've talked about this earlier also, and in the video also, as you have seen, that the very first sign to assess whether you are emotionally intelligent or not is that whether you can connect with others through that non-verbal cues or not, right? People who have good ability to deal with challenges and are humorous and have a positive attitude towards life and others, they are generally high on emotional intelligence, and they're able to resolve their conflicts also positively, right? So these are 5 skills which all of you should, aim to acquire, imbibe and inculcate in yourself. Understand that feelings are there. You cannot, live without it, or you cannot say that I am a very strong person, right? These things don't affect me. There's nobody like that, right? So feelings are going to be there, but it is also, important to understand that feelings are very, very subjective and situational based. You might be feeling very good right now, but something just happens, or your teacher just called you up and said that, what is the way of doing this assignment? You've not done this right. And all your enthusiasm will go down, right? A teacher saying good and appreciating you in front of every class, your emotions are very, very positive. Teacher rebuking you in front of every class, your emotions will go down, right? Your positivity will go down, and then you will start perceiving everything in a negative manner, right? So please do understand that you do not have to react to everything. Sometimes just let it be, because they are not facts. They are just emotions. You cannot get rid of it. They will change with time. So take time to understand, take time to realize, and take time to react or respond to it, right? Now, I have a very good acronym I thought to share with you. This is called as STRONG. So if you want to control your emotions, or if you want to be an emotionally intelligent person, you have to stay strong. How can you stay strong? S stands for proper sleep. Proper sleep means 7 to 8 hours of sleep, not less and not more also. T stands for take care of yourself. It is very important, because until unless you are feeling happy, you are feeling good about yourself, you will not be able to spread that goodness along, right? You will give to others whatever you have. If you don't have that peace, that calm attitude, that happiness inside you, do you think you'll be able to give it to somebody else? No. R stands for resist using too much caffeine or alcohol. Alcohol, I'm sure students are not taking, but caffeine also. Caffeine in the sense of a lot of coffee, right? Because it adds on to stress. So don't get into caffeine too much. O stands for once a day. I'm sure all of you have some hobbies. Take out time to pursue those hobbies. Do something that gives you a feeling of being in control. It might just be, playing music, playing guitar, or just going for a walk, or just sitting with your pet. or watching a good old movie, anything that gives you pleasure. Take out time once in a day and relax yourself. N stands for eat a balanced diet, because diet also plays a very important role. And G stands for get exercise. So at least for 20 minutes every day, get a habit of doing some kind of exercise. It can be aerobics, it can be yoga, can be simply dancing or going for a walk or cycling or swimming, whatever. But if you are going to follow this strong mechanism, you will definitely be able to be in charge of your emotions, right? So we are short of time, so I'm just, okay, fine. Let me just show this to you. This is a very small story that will help you in understanding how an emotionally intelligent person is productive at workplace. So who do you think is more emotionally intelligent? Sally or Harry? Yes, students, I want to hear from you all. Who do you think is more emotionally intelligent? Yes. May I have your responses, please? Sally. Okay. Okay. All right. Sally. Okay. So unanimously, everybody feels that Sally is more emotionally intelligent. And yes, she is. Reason being, she is flexible. She is having a very, very positive outlook towards everything, right? And these are the things which all of us need to inculcate in ourselves, right? So now look at this. We have already talked about the four aspects of being emotionally intelligent. Being self-aware, right? What do we mean by that? That means having a deep understanding of our emotions. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses, needs, drives? And we need to be honest with ourselves. Not only with ourselves, but with others also, isn't it? Then only we'll be able to be, to do get good. Take responsibility for your life. If you can't control what happens, you can at least control how you respond, isn't it? See, not every time it is possible that you have a control over, what is happening around you, but definitely you have 100% control over how you behave to that, right? It is up to you how you respond to it. So the very first thing that we need to understand is, students, are we reacting to a situation or are we responding to the same? Right? So now the choice is yours whether you respond or you react. This is a small, a very small story, but this is having a very deep meaning because it says whether you react or whether you respond. Now you must be wondering what is the difference between the two. Let's have a look.
She was wondering what is happening. Isha's mother was having a conversation with her grandmother. Isha was hearing the conversation carefully. The conversation continued, and Isha kept hearing.
Are you people able to? Are you able to hear the audio of this? Are you able to hear the audio, students? No. Okay. Okay. Not a worry. I'll just, so what I'll do is I'll play the video and I will narrate the story to you, right? So there's a small girl and her name is Isha, right? She's 11-year-old. Right? So she was very fun. She was a very, enthusiastic girl. And there was one fine morning when she was doing her work, she found that there are a lot of noise coming from the kitchen. Right? So she got amazed and she went inside the kitchen where she found that her mother and her grandmother are arguing over something. So she was wondering what is happening. So basically, Isha's mother was having a conversation with her grandmother, and Isha stood there and listened. So Isha just kept hearing while the conversation was happening. So after that, Isha went to her grandmother's room to see how, that she was very upset and she was also worried. So after that, Isha went with her mother for a drive, and Isha was listening to. So her mother just kept on talking about what happened, during the discussion with the grandmother. Right? So she was very annoyed. Isha's mother was very, very annoyed. So she just kept on talking about it for next 10 to 15 minutes, right? And Isha kept listening to it. But during during these 10-15 minutes, her mother just kept on speaking, speaking and speaking. But Isha did not respond even a single word. So after speaking for 10-15 minutes, Isha's mother asked, so what do you think, Isha? What had happened? So Isha basically paused for a second and then she started saying, Mom, I think. So Isha said a very nice, a very wise reply. She said, Mom, I think you have just reacted to what grandmom said. Rather, you should have responded. So Isha's mother was shocked and said, what do you meant by this? React and respond. So Isha said that when you react, at that time you are not listening to the other person, right? You are so much engrossed in your own emotions, in your thought process, what to speak next, that you don't even pay an eye or an ear to what the other person is saying. Rather, when you respond, you listen to the person attentively and then take a pause and then you give an emotionally aware response, right? So in reaction, we will generally find that we are just, venting out our frustrations and our negative emotions. Whereas if we just take a pause, give it a thought and then respond, there are less chances that we are going to vent out the negative feelings, right? Because in response, we care about what other person's response is going to be or how other person is going to feel about it. So Isha's mother felt that yes, she was right, and I would have, thought about this. So when she came back, she was Isha's mom was more relaxed as she got an answer to all the worries, and she was also very happy that her daughter is so smart, right? And that she's so sensitive that she cares about others. So students, this is what we also need to develop, that as an emotionally intelligent person, it is our responsibility to respond and not to react, right? So emotional intelligence is a way where we recognize, where we understand, and where we choose how we think, feel, and act. It also defines how and what we learn. It allows us to set priorities. It determines the measure of our daily actions, how we interact with our others, what we understand of ourselves. So all these things are basically guided by nothing but emotional intelligence, right? So basically emotional intelligence motivates you, right? It will lead a strong desire in you so that you can attain your goals with energy and determination. So it might be possible that one person's stress is another's motivation also, right? So with these words, I would like to end the presentation on emotional intelligence. I hope everybody has enjoyed this, right? So if you have any queries, feel free to write to me through the chat box. And just as a ritual for all of the classes, if you have anything to write to me or you want to connect with me, you can write to me on feedback.mentorbuddy@gmail.com. And you can also like my career guidance page on FB, that is Guidance for Career, so that we can stay connected. If you have anything related with the classes, sessions, or e-certificates or anything, please write on support@mentorbuddy.com. Once you get the e-certificates, you can also upload these certificates on LinkedIn and tag us on Quantum Learning. Please visit our MentorBuddy website and Center of Excellence website for more resources that are available for all of you free of cost there. How are you going to do that? Just visit centerofexcellence.com. I'll just show you how to go about it. Right, so just go to centerofexcellence.com, right? And from there, you have to go to student login. I'll just tell you how to go about it. Right, so we have a website that is Center of Excellence. So just go to COE. Once you will go to COE, you will find student login there. You need to go to student login and you have to put in your registered email ID as the user login and your registered mobile number as the password, right? As soon as you'll get into that, it will take you to a lot of, a lot of content that is available there on the website for your reference. A lot of mock tests, everything is there, right? So please do visit MentorBuddy website and Center of Excellence website. If you are facing any problems, if you do not have a Center of Excellence account, don't worry. You will be receiving emails for my upcoming webinars from where you can register directly for the same, right? So if there is any question, feel free to ask. I am available for next 2 minutes for all your questions. Please feel free to write to me on feedback.mentorbuddy@gmail.com for all your queries and concerns. Right, so I hope that you all enjoyed the session and you got a lot of learning in the class today, isn't it? Because emotional intelligence is something which is really very, very important. Right, so I take that there you don't have any question. Still, if you have any questions, feel free to write to me through email. I'll be responding to your questions. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us for the class today. All the good wishes and best of luck. We'll meet again on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. for the next session. Thank you so much. Take care. Yes, Mahesh, definitely life is not simple, but we can always find out the ways of, making it simple. Let's not complicate it. With a positive perception and outlook, you can get a solution to all the problems in life, right? I hope you all enjoyed the session on emotional intelligence, right? And I'm sure that you are going to utilize the learning that we have got in the session today, not only in professional life, but in personal life as well. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much.